Welcome to another Fun Friday. Nope, sorry guys, this is Creepin' It Real. Fun Friday is actually something that we do on our other channel called On Company Time. If you want to give that a view, that would be fantastic. That's where the coworkers and I get together and we play goofy games once a week for $500. So wow. Welcome to Creepin' It Real. I am Judah. Last night I witnessed peak perfection within the horror realm. And this is what happens when you don't have a plan and you know you got to get a review out there. I jumped on Hulu and was kind of looking to see what new movies were out there. I wasn't really interested in anything. In my great wisdom, I picked Slotherhouse. I know what you're thinking. No, I have not lost weight. In fact, I have gained weight. But I appreciate you acting like it's something else. But let's get watching this trailer. And again, I need some response. Is it better for me to keep these overhead lights on, or should I shut them off? What do you think? What's better? Yeah, it's so difficult. I mean, you get different dynamics both ways. I'm going to turn back on. That way you can see all the garbage sitting on my sofa better. Now, as we watch this trailer, I'm going to pause and make some comments. This is one so that you can hear clearly the movie and what I am saying, but also it's to break up the trailer in hopes that I will not get a copyright claim. This is a PG-13 film, so don't expect a lot of much of anything. There's no nudity in there, which I'm not one to be watching horror movies for the nudity anyway, so that was not a problem for me. But also the gore level is quite low. Ooh, loofah to death. Eek.
So cute. What is that?
That's a sloth.
What world are you living in that you don't know what a sloth is? Am I the only one? I don't know. Am I expecting too much of society? I thought that was like a big thing. Like you can get sloth calendars, yoga sloth calendars. What do you mean? What is?
If you're interested, I could sell you that one.
They're really that slow?
Maybe they just tricked us all.
In the jungle, she's a beta, but out here, she's an alpha.
Alpha.
It is a wild animal. You don't even know what it eats.
Alpha?
This was a perfect spot to stop this. Simply because you can see the horrificness of those claws. That would F you up. I'm not joking.
It's a Slotherhouse.
This boyfriend is only one of two men in this movie. Okay, that's technically not correct. There's more than two, but the boyfriend gets maybe 5 words. This poacher gets a few more than that. But all the men are basically just, this boyfriend is just dumb. He's dumb. The first time he shows up in the movie, this chick that's making this face right now, she comes to her new sorority home. Is that what you call them? I have no idea. Didn't go to college. So she goes to sorority house. She's moving in. There's a bunch of, her sisters there in the house. And she's in her room and her boyfriend comes to surprise her. And he comes in with a bouquet of flowers. And he says her name. And instead of her turn around and be like, oh, she freaks out and kicks him in the balls. It made no sense. She knows she's in there with a house full of other people. Why she would freak out and kick somebody in the balls makes no sense. So she screams, kicks him in the balls. And then this other character comes running in, who I'm assuming, side note, I'm assuming that this character is supposed to be a lesbian, okay? Now, this character actually was one of my favorite, but I have a lot of frustration because the actress played this character overly dude bro. I mean, everything. I swear I was watching Jason Momoa play Aquaman. It was very weird to me. I was like, that was an interesting choice. I mean, you didn't just go butch lesbian. You went do bro butch lesbian, which was very weird to me. No offense to dude bro lesbians out there. So, dude bro lesbian hears her scream. She runs in and kicks the dude in the balls a second time. This is very early on in the outgrew and this is when I was like, okay, this movie is not for me. I just knew that the humor was, I outgrew balls kicking a long time ago. So I was just like, this is not going to be my cup of tea. There you go. Slotherhouse. I'm taking these off. Now, if I was going to give you, man, this is actually a difficult review because the production was not bad. It actually was quite good. Which, speaking of the production, oh my gosh, here's an interesting, I searched up here, as you can see, I searched Slotherhouse budget. This is what the AI brought me. The budget for the movie Slotherhouse was $2 million. The budget likely went to camera equipment, lighting, and professional color grading. Well, you know what? I can tell you it didn't go for the acting. That's what I can tell you. Anyway, then we got somebody down here that says, did Slotherhouse really cost $20 million? Now, I went to this place. Oh, here. So then I accidentally backed out and I researched Slotherhouse budget. And then the AI tells me this. It was only $15,000. That's a huge drop. And it made $2 million. That is not a bad return. So I can understand why back here, while this person was like, did it really? Okay, so then I go here and I see this over here. It says the budget with $350,000 with only a return of $123,000. What is the actuality of this? What did this movie actually cost and what did it make? I think it's a psyop. Is that what they call that? I think it's just out there to throw us off the things that are really happening in the world. False flags. I think that's what they call them. It's just a false flag. Get us chasing down things that have nothing to do with importance in our life. I don't even remember where I was going with this movie. Oh, okay. So the production is actually decent. The lighting is great. The acting was not, I made that comment about not the acting. The acting was not fantastic, but I think they did what they were supposed to. It seems to me like this is supposed to be a satire. I wasn't really picking on the satiricalness of it. I thought it was supposed to be a satire on this over necessity and need for validation through social media. But to me, it didn't come off as satire. It came off as an actual mirror to the way I see other people engaging in real life with social media. And I think it's unhealthy. And believe me, I'm not unaware that I have social media and I'm doing this, and it's almost it seems hypocritical, but believe me, I'm not unaware of the absurdity of this need for validation from people who don't know you. This weirdness of creating a bond with people that will never be in your circle of intimacy and them feeling like they know you intimately and there's no connection whatsoever. Now, don't get confused. I am grateful for every single one of you who watches this and makes a comment. I even appreciate you who downvote me. I support that. If you need to do that, go for it. If you need to tear other people down to make yourself feel better, by all means, give me a thumbs down. I would appreciate you leaving a comment, though, explaining why you gave me a thumbs down. Some things I can change, some things I can't, and I'm not going to change my opinion just for you and a thumbs up. Now back to this. Did not feel it was very satirical. I felt it was just a mirror, which is very frustrating and depressing to me in a way. I also didn't feel that this movie pushed the boundaries enough. And I already mentioned that there's no nudity, and I'm not talking about nudity, but it seemed like it needed its absurdity to be bumped up. The one good thing I can say about this is they did not take themselves seriously. So good on them, because this is not a movie that you can take serious. Speaking on that note, I want to show you something else. I want you to see this right here. Somebody felt this was very important for us to know. The abbreviation FOMO is seen on a girl's phone. FOMO stands for fear of missing out. Thank you for sharing that. The whole time I was watching that movie, I already knew what FOMO meant, but I'm glad you cleared it up for everybody else out there who didn't know. I appreciate you. You are doing the Lord's work. Plot holes. Plot holes. Effing plot holes in Slotherhouse. It's keeping me up all night. The killer sloth drives a car to the hospital to kill one of the girls. I'm sorry, I can't even... The way it sat in the driver's seat, there is no way it says feel. It says there's no way its feel would be able to reach the pedal. Now, I'm assuming they meant to say feet. Okay. I can't, as a fellow, illiterate person that doesn't know how to spell, I understand. I know how to read. Illiterate is a different word. I don't know how to spell. Okay. And so I understand this. Also, that's a very okay mistake, except, you know what? On the keyboard, the T and the L are quite far apart. Doesn't matter. I'm not judging you. I'm not judging you for your spelling. I'm judging you for this comment, but not the spelling. Anyway, the way it sat in the driver's seat, there is no way the feet would be able to reach the pedal, let alone drive at that speed. I added the word that. I love that comment. I love that comment. If that's what you're worried about, then God bless you. This sloth is taken from the jungle, poached from the jungle, and sold as a pet, which brings up something somewhat frustrating to me. I would consider myself, I'm a vegetarian. I would consider myself an animal rights kind of a person. I would not consider myself an activist, but there was a point in time in life when I was sending letters, to our government concerning certain situations involving animals. And I am concerned about these kind of things. They do touch on that in this movie. And to me, it's an important topic and something needs to be brought up. But the movie is so goofy that I feel it overshadows the importance of the topic of taking exotic animals out of the wild and keeping them as pets. I'm not talking about dogs. I'm not talking about cats, farm animals. I'm talking about exotic animals. And it's also very sad, talked about for clout. But it's a very real thing. I've seen it with many of these influencers using animals as clout. Hang on. I'm recording right now. I think it's a shame when people get animals to kind of try to bring in more views. It bumps up, their viewership, makes them feel like they're doing something better. And then these animals, hang on. Guys, somebody's knocking on my door. Give me a second. Well, hey, everybody. I have an unexpected visitor. This is Jasper. I didn't know he was going to pop in today. That's who was banging on my door, interrupting me in the middle of my review. Do you guys want to like, subscribe, and share? Any thoughts? Oh, yeah. You just sit down there. The concept for Slotherhouse originated when the film co-writer Bradley Fowler tried to come up with the dumbest idea he could think of. Bravo, Bradley. You achieved it. You achieved it. This is quite literally one of the dumbest ideas you could have come up with. I did like there, it says it's kind of a mix between Mean Girls, Happy Death Day, and a touch of Gremlins. In a way, I would definitely agree with that touch of Gremlins. And I guess I could see the Happy Death Day potentially. But if I was going to describe this movie, Mean Girls definitely popped into my head. But also, Halloween, Michael Myers. You throw in every freaking cliche from the Halloween series, mix it in with Mean Girls, and then you have Slotherhouse. Okay, so the sloth is in this chick's room. She leaves, the sloth gets on her computer, and starts like scrolling through her Instagram or TikTok, whatever. Who the heck knows? I don't know. He starts scrolling through it and looking at her photos, and he sees a photo of her with the poacher. Then he has the memory of him getting snagged from, the jungle and being brought here. And he, the rage just builds up in him. The hate and the murderous rage. And that's when it starts. He starts planning, killing. All these girls start going missing. There's never really a big hoop to do about it. There's like this sequence of murders that the sloth commits, and there's never any kind of touch on like an investigation or anything. It's only towards the end of the movie when there's some kind of comment like, yeah, like all these girls have been going missing. I wonder what's up with that. It was almost even a throwaway line, or the writers were like, well, we have to at least acknowledge that these girls are being killed. Also, there was one chick who was very aggressive about how we have to get this sloth back to where he came from. She was the only person who cared about the well-being of the sloth. And this sloth, she gets hit by a car. She gets rushed to the hospital. That was the other thing. People start thinking that maybe the sloth the whole time planned to get this girl hit by this vehicle. I don't see how it happened, but that's where this movie is going. Okay. So when nobody's paying attention, the sloth grabs the car keys, uses Google Maps, finds out where this hospital is at to go finish off this girl who's like strapped. Why they strapped her down and she's in somewhat of a coma at the moment. She's not in a coma. She's completely aware of things. Why they strapped her into this bed makes no sense. It's not like she was trying to hurt herself. She wasn't flailing about. She was just hurt and in bed and recovering, and yet they got her strapped down. Anyway, so the sloth makes it there, and he's going to finish her off. And before he does, he takes a selfie of himself like over this girl with a pillow, like he's going to suffocate her. The absurdity of this movie is so fantastic. And there's hashtags, and they're like selfie before death or hashtag killer sloth. It was, I'm not going to lie, it was a little funny. It was a little funny. Anyway, so he like suffocates her. You assume, I don't want to spoil the movie for you. She's dead, okay? She's dead. I don't want to spoil it for you. She dies. He suffocates her with a pillow. At this point, people start realizing, wait a minute, this sloth has been killing people. This is when all hell breaks loose. The sloth, kicks it back to the house where all the girls are at to finish them all off. It's so absurd. But again, the absurdity is not high enough. I really wish that the deaths would have been so crazy. I wish there would have been splurting blood everywhere. I wish there would have been heads being ripped off, not because I'm like desire gore, but it it felt like the way the deaths occur are almost like too real life. You know what I mean? But you have this sloth that is killing people, which is absurd. So you need to make the deaths absurd, in my opinion. They needed to up the absurdity of the deaths. But they may have been trying to stick in that PG-13, to get that that younger crowd. And I get that when you're making a movie and you want to make your money back, you got to make strategic moves. I totally get that. I totally get that. But the end is where things go totally like Michael Myers. I mean, they run the sloth through with a katana, like all the way through. They shoot him like 3 or 4 times. He gets back up. It's unbelievable. They take a tiara. Tiara? Is that what? How do you, the crowns that the girls wear? Tiara? How do you say that word? They take that, turn it upside down, they jab it down into his skull. I mean, there was the puddle of blood under this sloth. He literally had lost more than half the blood in his body, but he's still kicking. He's still getting up. He's still ready to just destroy and kill. And at the last scene, when the girl is about to deal, the final blow, even though he got beat in the head with a cricket bat. Why was there a cricket bat there? Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was like a paddle. You know what I mean? Like a hazing paddle. That makes more sense. It's probably a hazing paddle. The house mother just beats the crap out of the sloth with this hazing paddle. There's no way. I mean, there's no way that the sloth was getting up after that beating. But of course, he took 4 bullets and a katana through the chest, and the guy's still going. In its last moments, it looks at this picture on the wall of a jungle, and it whispers, "Home, home." It's heartbreaking. But it's like, okay, if all you wanted was to go back to home, why did you try to kill the one girl that was trying to actually take you and get you back to home? I don't know. So this is a difficult movie to review. In hindsight, I'm finding some things were funny. Again, the production was really good. But on the most part, it wasn't for me. But I can see a lot of people liking it. It did get some good reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. But for me, it just wasn't absurd enough. Okay? It just was not absurd enough. And I'm not a fan of the Halloween movies. So there's a little bit of Michael Myers for me going on within this movie. But if you like absurd movies, if you like the idea of a sloth killing young women, then this might be right up your alley and you might want to give it a try. Me, on the other hand, had I never watched this movie, my life would be fine. Is my life ruined that I've seen it? Absolutely not. No, it's not ruined. In fact, if I could erase my memory of the Terrifier movies and replace it with several hours of Slotherhouse, I would much rather that, because Terrifier is a stain on my soul in time that I wish that I could get back. I never want to see another one of those movies. So if we're looking at it from that scale, would I watch Slotherhouse over Terrifier? Slotherhouse is going to take it. I'm going to watch Slotherhouse again. Terrifier can take the back seat forever. I don't care. In fact, behind that sofa is where I threw that Blu-ray special edition Terrifier 3 that my boss bought me as a joke, because he knows full well that I hate that series. And that after watching the second one, I told him that I was never going to watch another one. I didn't care. He could threaten me, he could fire me, but I was never going to watch another one. So he bought that for me as a joke, and I tossed it back behind that sofa back there. Thanks for watching. I'm Judah. This has been Creepin Real. I would appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and share. And again, if you'd like to check out my other channel, On Company Time, I'll leave a link in the description. Please do that. That's when me and the rest of the staff here get together and play some goofy games for $500. And if you have any suggestions for movies that I should do reviews on, leave them in the comments. I would love to engage with you there. I also have Instagram. It is Creepin' It Real Horror, because Creepin' It Real has already been taken. And I will see you next week.